All right, so you're a Ford owner, and this weird code U3006-16 has popped up on your dash. Well, you've come to the right place. That little warning light isn't just there to annoy you, it's a message. And today, we're going to decode it together. Let's get right into it. So, what is your Ford actually trying to say with this jumble of letters and numbers? You got to think of it like a secret message coming straight from your car's brain. It's pointing to a very specific issue, and our job right now is to crack that code. First things first, we need to translate this thing into plain English. See, this code isn't pointing to one single broken part. It's more of a heads up about a really fundamental system in your car. It's electrical health. So let's get to the bottom of what this voltage warning is all about. At its heart, the Ford code U3006-16 is a DTC. That's just a fancy name for diagnostic trouble code, and it's screaming low voltage. It gets triggered when your car's body control module, or BCM, which is basically the computer running a ton of your car's features, senses that the voltage on a really important circuit has dropped too low. The official term you'll see is circuit voltage below threshold. Sounds a little technical, right? But here's a super simple way to think about it. Imagine your car's electrical system is like the plumbing in your house. This code is basically your car saying it's got low electrical pressure. The juice just isn't flowing with enough force to get the job done. Okay, so we know what the code means. Now we need to figure out what's causing it. And here's the tricky part. It's not always just one thing. We have to treat this like a little detective case. So let's go ahead and line up our four main suspects. In pretty much every case where you see a U3006-16 code, the problem is going to be one of these four. It could be the wiring harness that's carrying the power, the battery that's supposed to be storing it, the alternator that makes it, or, and here's a fun twist, it could be the control module itself that's causing the fuss. Now that we've got our suspects, the real investigation can begin. We're going to take a close look at each one, piece by piece, to understand how it could be the one behind that low voltage warning. Let's start with the pathways that carry the power in the first place. Our first suspect is the wiring harness. This is that huge, complex bundle of wires that's like your car's circulatory system. Its job is to get electricity from point A to point B, C, D, all over the car, including to the body control module. So how does a wiring harness fail? Well, it's supposed to deliver a nice, steady flow of power, but over time, things happen. Wires can get frayed, damaged, or they can corrode. When that happens, the connection gets weak, the power flow gets choppy, and suddenly the control module isn't getting the voltage it expects. And what does it do? It triggers the code. Let's move on to suspect number 2. And honestly, this is a really common one: the battery. The battery is the heart of the electrical system when the car is off, and it gives that big jolt of power to get everything started. It's pretty simple, really. If your battery is getting weak, if it's old, or if it's just plain failing, it can't hold a proper charge anymore. That means it just isn't capable of supplying the stable, high enough voltage that the system needs. The control module sees this power shortage right away and logs that U3006-16 code.
And now for suspect number 3, the alternator. If the battery is the one who starts the party, the alternator is the one that keeps it going all night long. Its job is to generate electricity to power everything, and, this is crucial, to recharge the battery while you're driving.
So if the alternator starts to fail, it just can't keep up with the car's electrical demands. The whole system's voltage starts to drop, and your car actually starts draining the battery just to stay running. The control module sees this system-wide voltage dip and immediately flags it with our familiar error code. This brings us to our final, and probably the most sneaky suspect: the body control module itself. This is the brain that's supposed to be detecting the problem. But what happens when the brain itself is the problem? And here's the twist in our story. If the control module itself is damaged, maybe it has an internal fault, it can completely misread the voltage it's getting. That means it might throw a low voltage code even if your wiring, your battery, and your alternator are all in perfect working order. It's basically a false alarm, but it's caused by a real failure in the module. Okay, we've identified the 4 main suspects. We know what this code means, and we know who could be responsible. So the big question now is, what do you actually do with all this information? Let's talk about what comes next. And this is absolutely the most important takeaway here. Because there are 4 different possible causes, you can't just start throwing parts at the problem. If you go out and replace a perfectly good battery when the real issue is the alternator, you've just wasted time and money, and guess what? That error code is going to come right back. You have to diagnose it properly.
So here's a little cheat sheet to pull it all together. You can see whether the suspect is the wiring, the battery, the alternator, or the control module. The solution always starts with the same critical step: inspection. You have to test the component and confirm it's the real problem before you replace it. That one step is the key to fixing this right the first time and not spending money you don't have to.
And that pretty much wraps up our investigation. We've decoded the message and we've identified the 4 main suspects. The only question left is, which one is the true culprit in your car? Now, armed with this knowledge, you're ready to find out.